There we go.
Hi,
Hi
everyone.
guys. Hello,
Here
Jennifer
we
from
are.
Homestead. Robin with Garden State So and So, Karen Godiowski, and Linda. Linda made a comment in the chat as well.
And
So,
Jennifer,
huh?
Jennifer, Jennifer did as well.
Yeah, I saw Jennifer. I
Mhm.
saw Jennifer's thumbnail she made for her collaboration. She did a really good job on it.
I thought come across. I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah, I need to look at it in more detail, but you could tell I've done those collage ones before. They're fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does take a lot of looking to find all the pictures to go with it. I've been meaning to make a video of all my healthy eating food.
Yeah.
Now all that information is all on hubby's laptop because I have a brand new phone. As a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, this is how I lost it last week. I had it open, it fell off the tray in here.
Oh, wow.
And so I need to learn to close it. See, because it's one of those flip kind. I
Oh.
need to learn to close it. So and I'm always taking
Hi,
the
Rebecca.
case off to put it in the tripod, and so then I walk around with just one piece of the case. So
Oh,
today, when I was filming, I took them both off. I filmed my thing and then I put them right back on before I started editing the video or anything because I was trying to be, and I hope I remember to do that because I know I just lost my phone, just got broke. So it's fresh in my
mhm.
mind. Hello, Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. How are you? So, anyway, so we wanted to talk about some farm animals today. I guess we'll wait a few more minutes before we start on that. So what did you do today, Linda? Anything? Hello, Butler
Yeah,
family.
I fed the baby. Speaking of farm animals, my little baby, little Spark, he's so cute.
Aw,
And I need to do another live with him so everybody can see how well he's growing and stuff. And he's
that's a
still
good
his
idea.
so tiny little bat. He's really cute. And then I installed wood skirting around the cabin most of the day. So,
Mm, yeah, I planted tomatoes today,
oh, Rebecca, I haven't picked
and
my.
I made 3 videos.
We'll do that tomorrow.
So
You planted.
I've
What
been a
you?
busy, busy girl today.
Wow, wow. Yeah, I haven't got my stuff planted yet. I've got my watering system in and the bed's filled well, and I'm gonna get it planted. So,
Yeah, I planted my survival seeds aroma paste tomatoes
yeah.
today. And then I had another new container, the new metal beds that I have, and I planted some little dwarf tomatoes in there. I thought I could eat those with my lunches, little cherry tomatoes. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have 3 varieties. One is the survival seeds, and 2 will be dwarf tomato varieties. So I narrowed it down to 3. I have 50 million varieties of tomatoes,
Oh
but
well. I
I
have
wanted to
several
stick
varieties
with
as well.
I wanted to know for sure that I liked the survival seeds one, and I wanted to try the ones Carol sent me. So I had to narrow it down, but I have a lot of different tomatoes.
Hi, Anne. Hi, Charles. How are you doing? Yeah.
Exciting.
Charles is going to be on my live next Wednesday night. I have
Oh,
his
he is. That's
yes, he
cool. Oh, is he going to do his growing
is.
up with?
I'm so excited
Oh,
to hear it.
I like to hear some of those stories.
Everybody
I
tells me.
think I think Charles is going to be on this live next Friday with me and Heather.
Oh,
I
that'll be neat.
confirm that if that's true, Bushcraft family, if you're going to be on with us next Friday. So he had a specific topic he wanted to talk about. So we're going to be doing that. So I'm trying to keep all the things. This is the subject for Linda. This is the subject for Heather. This
Oh,
is the subject for Healthy. I mean, I got all the things going on.
he said
My
yes.
irons are in lots and lots of grills. So yeah, we have you. I have it. I don't know if I have it scheduled yet, but so next Friday, Bushcraft family will be our guest. and he wants to talk about what new things are going on with YouTube.
Jennifer said he's going to be almost as famous as Jan now.
I know, because he's going to be on with you Wednesday and on with me Friday. So yeah.
You know, and Jan and I, we have a new live series coming up in April. Yeah. It's going to be cool. You're going to love it.
You have a car now? That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you want to talk about it yet, or is it a secret?
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be bringing you local farm news, crazy news, you know, not your typical news, but news that you hear out in the country, and crazy laws from the different states. So that'll be the focus of it. And we even have uniforms, so just be prepared.
Is this going to be in the comedic? Is it going to be funny?
It's going to be a comedic. Yeah,
funny. Okay, I thought so too.
It'll you know, I mean, it can only be as funny as we are, but Jan's pretty funny.
I think y'all could be pretty funny together.
Yeah.
I think y'all could be funny together.
It'll be cute. It'll be fun.
I've been working on some of my karaoke songs for the Ozark Meetup. Practicing. There's a new one I want to sing, but I don't think I'm ready to sing it, but I still have time. But we'll see how it goes. And Jan and I pick one we're going to sing together. So
how neat.
Yeah, maybe I can talk Adrian into singing something with me.
Yeah,
that's religious type song. Maybe I could get her to sing something with me. She did sing on that collaboration like that I had around Christmas time. She did sing on that. So I'm working on it. I don't want to go up there and make a fool of myself. So I want to know what I'm singing and be ready for it. Practice. Everybody needs practice for whatever they're going to be doing. So basically, I wanted to talk about farm animals today. I only have chickens and cats, and I have a fish. But I originally got my chickens when I started the plant paradox eating plan, which I'm following a different plan now. But I wanted to have healthier eggs. So that's what started me on YouTube at the very beginning. Was I got chickens and I wanted to learn how to use them. I had not really ever used YouTube for anything. And somebody said, go on YouTube and find somebody. And so I started following Becky's Homestead. So I basically still feed the same way she does because that's who I learned from. Then that led into Homestead Tessie. While watching Homestead Tessie, I decided that she wasn't perfect. She made little mistakes here and there. And that maybe if she could do it, maybe I could do it. So Homestead Tessie's the reason that I have a channel. She's the reason I started my channel.
That's awesome.
So it's crazy. I just thought she has little imperfections. Maybe I could do it. So I know we were traveling to Montana, and that was early 2020. We were traveling to Montana to visit my sister-in-law, and I was thinking about it on the way, but I was afraid to tell my family. I thought they would think it was weird. And so finally, it wasn't until we actually got back, and I told my husband and my stepdaughters, and they all thought it was a really cool idea. But if you'd ask anybody I went to high school if I would have a YouTube channel, they'd be like, no, she's too shy. Thank you, Butler Family Farm. That's much appreciated. So that's why I ended up with chickens. I wanted to have healthier eggs. I'm not actually going to get new chicks this year because I told one of my friends, I was like, well, if I can get 6 when they started laying again from the winter, and I managed to go through the whole winter not buying eggs at all. I didn't buy any eggs. I barely made it though. There was a time there when I thought I was going to have to buy eggs, but I never ended up buying eggs. So anyway, we got into spring and I'm getting about 6 or 8 a day. And I said, as long as I have half a dozen, that's plenty. There's only 2 of us. We even have enough to sell. And of course we can eat all we want. So,
yeah.
But I tried to, what kind of setup do you have for your chicken feed? What kind of stuff do you put in yours? Because everybody
My
does.
chicken feed,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I use the crumbles and the black sunflower seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I put in mine. And sometimes I'll get him some, some mealworms or something.
Yeah,
I
I
find
was feeding the mealworms until one day I looked at the back of the package and it said made in China. And I said, I'm not feeding them that anymore. I'm like, why are mealworms coming from China? So I used to buy mine that, but I don't give it to them anymore.
Yeah.
Because of
I
that.
don't care if they eat Chinese mealworms. I mean, I don't care.
We're on the conspiracy theory of, are they trying to tank us at every end? And I know that's probably more worry than we should probably actually have, but
yeah,
I just don't
I think that because we're importing a lot of that. So I
mean,
know
I don't mind the stupid, little this or that, little doodads or whatever, but I don't want to actually eat something from them.
Yeah.
And technically, if your chickens eat it, you technically end up eating it later as well. So
I don't give them that many.
yeah, I did. I used to buy that flock party things. I mean, I still give them I figured out in my yard, I actually have wild lettuce. I give them wild lettuce. I give them vegetables from the garden.
Yeah, I give them leftovers and stuff like that.
And they love scraps.
Mm-hmm.
They love scraps. They're pretty not picky. I mean, they
Yeah.
pretty much will eat anything that we put out there.
Exactly. So it makes it nice. I mean, it does make it nice.
I like to call them mini dinosaurs because they will pretty much eat anything.
Yeah. I have a
My
couple.
husband will put fish heads out there and he'll cut the head off and, we'll eat the good part or whatever. Then he'll, do the fillet thing. And then he'll give them the head and they eat all the meat off of it and they poke that eyeball out. It's disgusting. But anyway, yeah, they eat it.
During the wintertime when my water broke out there and I had to get water out of the pond, I'd get fish. Fish would get in the bucket and I just pour it in there and they'd eat the fish.
Yeah. We've given them, like, if you go fishing, you have leftover worms, we'll give them those, or, minnows or whatever, we'll just give them.
First dinner.
What did she say?
She said, well, there goes my dinner.
Oh, poking the eyeball out. I know that's disgusting when you go out there and and they pick that thing down straight to the bone. They will eat raw meat. I don't prefer to give it to them that way, but I'm not going to cook the fish head before I give it to them. So hubby just drops the whatever out there and and then at the end, you'll just have a bone, nothing but a bone. I'll pick every little bit off of it.
So I have 24 chickens out back and I'm getting between 19 and 21 eggs a day.
Yeah. Ooh, I wouldn't know what to do with that many eggs.
Yeah, I'm going to start pickling some and I am selling them to my daughter-in-law and she's going to buy bags of feed, so that'll help.
I have extra, I sell them.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, really, it's not profit. It's just reimbursing for some of the feed.
Helping with the feed, and that's about it.
That's really all it does. It doesn't really. It doesn't really. We
have
had people given us chickens before, huh?
I mean, we literally eat probably 6 eggs a day in our family, So that's a lot of eggs. And you
Yep.
figure if you're not having to buy that, I mean, that'd be a dozen every other day.
I get a bunch. I'll make like some kind of a quiche or frittata type thing. And eggs are really good for the eating plan that I'm currently following, which is mostly high protein. People think I'm on the keto because it follows a lot of keto type things, but I'm actually just high protein.
Yeah.
Protein.
Yeah.
So I'm basically following a nutritionist and I'm eating the way she's saying to eat because I figure she went to school, she has a master's degree, and she learned all the things. If she can't teach me how to eat properly, I don't know who can, you know.
Well,
So
and eggs are so good for you
they
because
are.
they're a complete protein, and on top of that, they
I
help you.
can't believe they demonize eggs all the
Yeah.
time. They're always demonizing eggs like they're bad for us, but they're not.
They help you to absorb vitamin D, different vitamins. They just help you to absorb it. And so it's really, I think eggs are an essential part of people's diet, and they should be eating them all the time.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they ate back in the
When
old days.
I go to the
In the
doctor,
summer, they had eggs and vegetables. In the winter, they had lots of meat and whatever things they had put up.
yeah,
So that's why I love reading all those old books
yeah,
where they talk about how they preserve. That's what I like most about the Little House on the Prairie books is the simpler times when they were salting their fish and they would only get deer, they would only get these animals in the winter. And so in the summer, they ate vegetables and eggs.
yeah. They did. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's when you look at how valuable chickens are to a homestead or to a farm, I mean, they're just really valuable.
They are. And their eggshells are valuable too because you can use them
valuable. Yeah.
You can feed them back to your chickens to give them calcium that makes their eggshells thicker. If you have one that has a thin shell or whatever, you could feed so I bake them for about 7 minutes in the oven and then I crush them with an ice cream scoop to little pieces about the size of their food.
Yeah.
And I give that to them. And then when I'm not using it for the chickens, then I'm also baking it and crushing it and using it in the garden. So either way, those eggshells always get used.
Yeah.
I'm basically rotating half of the year it's for the garden and half of the year it's for the chickens. So
yeah. So let's talk about pigs, raising pigs. You were saying you raised them when you were little. You just don't remember?
Don't have a lot of memories of it. I do remember just sitting there at the fence like this, just watching them. I just thought they were so cute. We did live out in the country for a little while. Like I say, my mom and dad dad wanted to be in the country. Mom wanted to be in the city. So we were doing this back and forth thing, Jeremy and Cheryl Cruise Adventures. Welcome in.
Welcome in. Yes. Welcome in. Yeah. We, never raised pigs when I was growing up, but we did raise pigs when my kids were little, my boys. They used them for 4-H pigs. And then
the hard part for me would be sending them to freezer camp.
Well, the one sold and it ended up being a grand champion and so they did really well. But the other one ended up having a stroke. And yeah. So when you think farm animals can't have strokes, they can. And it had a stroke, and so it was cockeyed, and its head cocked over, and we had to have the vet come out and find out what was wrong with it. And he told us it had a stroke.
Wow, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I'm sure they go through things. I know my outside cat out here, something happened to her last year. I don't know if she got attacked by something or bit by a spider or snake. I'm not sure what happened to her, but literally she almost died last year outside. And we did lose. Last year we lost 2 cats. We lost Curly Sue. We didn't have her tested because it was really expensive. So we don't know exactly what she passed away of. But the other one got attacked by something in the yard. So I'm thinking whatever killed baby in the backyard is probably also what got Miley.
Yeah. We had just today, we have a tomcat. His name's Forrest, the gray one, really pretty cat. And he came back, and he normally just comes right up to me, and he couldn't walk on one of his legs, and he's got a big old gash. He's been attacked, obviously. And there were coyotes out last night, so I suspect it was probably a coyote attack.
Yeah.
And now he won't come to me at all. He just loud meows. I kept trying to catch him. I can't catch him to take care of his leg, and
That's what she was like. She was hard to.
Yeah.
We were having trouble treating baby and Miley,
Yeah.
but my baby ended up succumbing to her injuries, and she passed away. We actually have 3 cats and tons of chickens in the backyard. Hubby does all that burying thing. I don't do that.
Yeah, I would have locked him up had he been here last night, because I've been locking Toto up and little Chips, fish and Chips. Fish stays in the house and Chips stays outside, but I've been locking him up in the garage with the baby at night. The baby lamb, the baby goat, and I wish I would have had him here because, I knew the coyotes were out, and I just suspect that's probably what got him.
Yeah.
Broke my heart. I don't think he's going to make it. He didn't look well at all.
We had 4 chickens attacked by raccoons about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And the raccoon actually killed 4 of our chickens. And then after that, we actually got live traps. And we've caught possums, raccoons, skunks. And I think one time we caught a stray cat. Yeah. That's about what we've caught. So hubby will take the animal and he will, like the skunk, they're like, how does he do that? Well, there's a blanket. If you watch any of my videos, you see a blanket out there. He has to air it out. So he puts the blanket, it's already in the cage. He puts the blanket over it. He loads it into the vehicle, into the back of the truck, and drives it somewhere and basically lets it go.
Lets it go.
And he takes it out of the truck, takes the blanket off, and then he opens up the thing and it just runs off. So basically, they're like, how does he do that without getting sprayed? Well, there's a blanket over it. And the blanket kind of stays there, and he opens it, and I think the blanket's still kind of gathered up on it there, and so I've
seen people do that with tarps too.
And they don't spray the person because they're just so excited to get away.
Yeah,
we have a blanket. It's outside. Actually, I saw it today because it's been blowing so much that it was laying on the ground, and I thought, ooh, I need to bring that in and just like wash it. Just just give it a wash, and leave it in the utility.
May not want to. It may make your washer smell for a
I don't know. It's been airing out outside for a while, so I don't think there's enough scent in it to do that anymore. I don't think. I might take a whiff of it first, though.
Yeah, I would definitely take a whiff of it. That's one thing as we're talking about.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. As we're talking about farm animals and chickens in particular, it's really important that you don't set your chicken coops up by trees, okay? Because if you set them up by trees, you give raccoons a perfect,
ours is right under
from the top onto your chicken coop, and they will devour your chickens. That's what happened to mine. I had a beautiful brand new chicken coop.
Yeah, we have chicken wire on top and a tarp, so.
And sure enough, I went through 27 chickens that way in a week.
Does your coop have a top on it?
Oh yeah, it did. In fact, I don't use it anymore. I tore it down. I had built it. It was really nice chicken coop, raised up off the ground, had nice egg box on the outside and vinyl on the inside, linoleum.
Hi, Crystal.
And I ended up cutting out the floor and the egg box off and boarding it all in and making it for the goat shelter because I could never have chickens out there. It would be, you couldn't move it. It
So
was
hot in Texas. We had to put ours under a tree to keep them cool enough because we don't have to worry about winters. We have to worry about summers.
Well, here we do have a lot of heat and they get really hot. So we use, I just use shade cloth now, and they're in the backyard surrounded by the dogs so that nothing can get to them, and no owls or hawks or eagles can dive down and get them because there's shade cloth over top.
Mm-hmm. I feel like even the cats might be a little bit of a deterrent. I know that sounds weird to say, but I have just feeling that some animals may be a little bit afraid of the cats. But basically what we have for our run is it's a dog kennel that's like wire. He's added chicken wire to the top.
Yeah.
Then he's put a post for them to sit on it, there. And that holds up that chicken wire up to like a, teepee type thing. And then he's attached a tarp up there because, like I say, we're trying to protect them from the heat in the summer. So we actually need a new one. And then on the bottom of the coop, he's taken chicken wire and he's got it connected to the coop going up under and then dirt on top of it. So that if something tries to dig underneath it, they're not going to get in there either. So he's pretty masterfully. So what happened with the raccoon is there was a hole this big in it. And that's all the room they need to get in. So,
well, the frightening thing about raccoons is that they're really, really smart. And if they figure by accident, they can open different gates. They learn to open them. They can learn to open an egg box. And they're really smart. And so if they can find a way in, they will find a way in. And it's just, miserable.
Yeah. So we did a pretty good proofing job on the chicken coop after that. And he wants to get rid of the small coop, but I think he just needs to put a bottom on it to where nothing can dig up underneath. That's because I feel like we need to keep that one for when we do have baby chicks. We'll have a place to put them before they go into the big coop, like a learning place.
Yeah, I have a dog kennel that's hard metal. The hard ones that's got the hard black metal, and I use that for that reason. It's out at the chicken coop. I put the chicks in it when they get old enough to go in there and let them stay in there for 4 weeks or so, and the other chickens get used to them then.
Yeah.
They can go.
I have trouble with that. I'm really soft-hearted, so I have trouble when they're like bullying each other and stuff. I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, it's hard for me to watch. I have to just let him do it and go inside because I just can't watch it.
I had two of my free-range chickens out front the other day, and they were battling to the death, and I literally ended up stepping in and chasing it because it went on for 10 minutes. I was watching them, and I'm thinking, do I let him be? Do I let him be? Do I let him be? And then I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to step in because there's so much space out. They were out in the open space and battling. So I had to.
No journey with Christ. Welcome in. Hi. So you had a baby you had to take care of this year. You want to tell us about that?
Yes. It's normal when you raise sheep and raise goats to end up with a bottle baby. And what I've learned over the years is often these bottle babies, especially with sheep, the bottle baby sheep, they can do well. But if you have 4 bottle baby sheep at one time, say, you may have 2 of them that are going to survive after a month. And what usually happens is they just end up getting sick, and no matter what you do with them, they end up dying, and it breaks your heart because lambs are just adorable.
Yeah, the picture you sent was cute. So that one that you sent the picture of, was that did that one pass away, or did that one live?
He's in the garage. He's the one that's in the garage. And we named him because Jennifer wanted to name him Mr. Sparkles. And I just couldn't see him being Mr. Sparkles. So I compromised and named him Little Spark. Okay.
Oh.
And Mr. Sparky, but right now we're calling him Little Spark because he had a little sparky fire in him, you know, and I was just going to try to get him well enough to get him back out with Mama, and whatever happened, because that's usually, you know, but then he stole my heart. I wasn't heart, but he stole my heart. He's the cutest little goat ever. If you haven't seen him, I have videos out on him, and he is the cutest little goat.
I need to go by and check out the videos. I love baby animals.
He's got this tiny little quiet bleat that he does, or bah, whatever you want to call it. And so he stayed in my shower for probably a week, not quite a week.
Allergies.
3 or 4 days. It was a pain because I had to take him out to shower. He's running around in the bathroom. I had to clean up his mess in the shower to take a shower, you know. So I decided to make him a spot out in my garage that I'm working on my wood shop, which I can't work on right now because he's out of my garage. And so I took a tarp and laid some straw down, or laid some shavings down on top of the tarp, gave him his blanket and his pillow and his baby and some water and some hay. And I go out and feed him 3 times now, you know, every 8 hours I go feed him. But he's doing really well and growing like a weed. He's actually bigger than the one that's with the mama, because we had 2 that were born. That Mama has.
That means you definitely fed him well enough.
Yeah.
To be bigger.
Really well, and he thinks I'm his mom, and he just wants me to pick him up constantly. And so I try to avoid the garage because I want him to be a goat. I don't want him to be a mini me.
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do is, after this next rain comes, I'm going to move him out with Lucy Lou, our Great Pyrenees, that likes to adopt the babies. I'm going to move him out with her out in the pasture out back, where we usually winter our sheep, but we didn't this year. And so there'll be lots of grass for him to eat. And I may move Mama and the other baby over there as well. And then that way Lucy feels important that she's got a job again, you know, and she's excited over that. So
like he's full grown and wants to be cuddled. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he does. He just wants you to hold him and pet him. And he tries to kiss you all the time and tries to nibble on your cheek, you know, and it doesn't matter if you have a bottle or not. He just wants you to do that. Sometimes he just doesn't even want his bottle, and he just wants to be held. So, yeah.
Cute.
He's adorable. I mean, he really is adorable. Hi, Carol.
Yeah. I bet he is. I mean, the pictures are cute. I can't imagine how cute he would be in person.
Ariella, hi.
So our backyard kitty Dawson, the one we had to put outside because he was having potty issues. So I've been talking to my husband about getting him fixed. So he's showing signs that he's been showing signs for a while. And I've been asking hubby, he hasn't put it high on the priority list. He has other things on his mind. So all of a sudden, probably the last month, we've had this girl kitty start hanging out at the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to feed her. I did not want to feed her because once you feed them, they're yours forever. But I started thinking, since Daddy hadn't gone and got him fixed, he may have her pregnant.
Yeah.
So I gave her a name, and her name is Molly.
Oh.
So she's the gray with the black. You know what I'm talking about? The gray ones with the black. She's like that type. So she has been eating in the morning, in the evening. I don't know if she has another home. She doesn't have a collar, but she's very friendly. Like she'll let me get real close to her to feed her, but I haven't tried to pet her yet. I'm a little nervous of her because I don't know if she's gonna try to bite me or something. So we're thinking maybe that Molly could be pregnant.
Hi, Journey with Grace.
That's a possibility. So,
wow.
So maybe now hubby, after she has kittens,
well, yeah,
hubby will go get Mr. Dawson fixed because.
And see, that was my mistake with Forrest, the one that was attacked.
We waited too long, and I think it's too late now.
I should have got him fixed, and I think it's too late too. But
well, I think I can still do it, but
it'll keep him.
But he may have already gotten her pregnant, and we may have a litter of kittens. But what I'll do is, more than likely, I will keep one and find homes for the rest. Because usually you can put an ad in. I think you might even be able to do it for free if you're giving them away for free. I'll keep the girl, a girl, because Dawson, I didn't want a boy, but I ended up with Dawson, and he's not as sweet as the kitty that I had that passed away.
Yeah.
Then on top of not being as sweet, he also was having potty issues and was not using the litter box right. So that's how he ended up here in the backyard. So at least Molly has somebody to keep her company out there. But we can have kittens. Possibility.
And as I was talking to Gail about earlier, I was telling her, I said, well, cats are really an essential part of a farm. Because if you don't have cats on a farm, you are going to be overridden by mice. If you have a homestead, you need cats. And we didn't have any cats originally. And oh boy, they get into everything. And you're talking not just a few mice, you're talking hundreds of mice, and they're in the barns, in the garage, and in the shop, and in your house. And it wasn't until these cats start showing up, these feral cats, probably because of all the mice, and that the mouse population started dwindling, and now we hardly ever see a mouse.
Yeah.
So they are so important, and keep them out of your feed and your dog food and your cat. It's just really important because they'll get into everything and just destroy things.
Yeah. The only thing I thought one year I had a really good year with cantaloupe out there in the wild garden, and something was biting, and I thought maybe it was a raccoon or a possum, and I also thought it could have been mice.
Yeah, it could have been mice. Mice love to eat seedlings. Like when they're just little, they will go eat your plants. So, yeah. I have a rabbit. I have to.
What do you think she's talking about here? Could he have a UTI? Did we talk about something?
I don't know.
Carol, we need more information.
Oh, you're probably your cat that had to go outside. Now I think he's spraying. He's a male tomcat, and I think he's spraying on things like male tomcats do. That's why mine don't come in.
Yeah, well, I wanted to rehome him, but hubby didn't have the heart to do that. So the compromise was he would become a backyard kitty.
Yeah.
So other than getting in my plants, it's okay. But the feast of plastic forks, I'm not trying to grow plastic forks. They're to keep the cats out of my things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And the thing of it is if you don't get, Jennifer's right, you need to get them.
I know. I'm just going to have to
right away because
I'm just going to have to go do it because maybe she isn't actually yet. And maybe I can, maybe there's still time to.
Yeah. They'll fight other cats and they'll
Yeah, no, he wasn't using the box.
Eaten or hurt, and I mean, that's so now I'm just hoping he survives and I can get him and get little Chips neutered. I'm probably not going to be able to get the black tomcat that runs around here madness. He won't let you pick him up very often. So
yeah, I haven't tried to touch the stray cat, the new stray cat that's hanging out. I'm just
all my others are fixed, but
yeah, all ours are fixed. It's just that one, and I'm just gonna have to say, okay, your payday's coming up. Can you just like budget? I need to call and find out how much it is, and then I need to be like, okay, you're getting paid this Wednesday. Okay, let's I'll go take Dawson to the doctor, and
and see, I
day and come pick him back up later on in the day. So I'm just gonna have to get her done, I guess.
After farming and doing this for years, because we've been doing this for years, I've learned that it's really important to have systems in place for animals. So if you're going to start a homestead, have systems in place. And if that could very well mean that before you get animals, of course, you need to get your fencing and your housing and everything set up for them way before you buy them. And you might want to consider cats, and you might want to consider livestock guardian dogs or working dogs because of predator control. I mean, oh my gosh, if we didn't have our dogs, I can imagine that, I mean, there's so many coyotes around here and even birds of prey that just swoop down all the time. The dogs chase them off most of the time,
Yeah, I have seen them. I've seen birds that I'm in a small city, so it's not like you guys in the country, but I've seen a bird that I think, like when the chickens are free ranging, which is why I don't want to leave them outside when I'm not there. I will occasionally run in and go use the restroom and go back out, but I try to be out there while they're out there because I'm just afraid chicken hawk or raccoon, something, because when they're free ranging, there's a whole fence around the yard, but there's nothing above that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like their run that is covered in all the ways to get in.
We've lost ducks. We've lost some ducks
around the yard just to keep them in.
Yeah, gray owls will swoop down during the day and they usually take the head right off and leave. I mean, they're just nasty when the way they
do it.
Take care of your livestock, your game fowl.
Thank you for coming in, Grace.
Yeah, the chickens can usually get away, but the ducks just sit there and they're just target.
Yeah, target. So what other kind of animals do you have? You have sheep, you
Yeah,
have goats, you
we
have
raise
chickens. What
goats.
other animals do you have?
Just we have a couple of ducks and a couple of geese that are so annoying. The geese are, not the ducks. And then we have livestock guarding dogs. We have 4 Great Pyrenees and the cats. And we used to have a donkey and we got rid of him. Like I said, when the kids were little, they raised pigs. And we've raised steer when the kids were little too. Also, they used them for 4-H. They each had a steer and raised them. And then we've had a steer since we've lived here as well. So I think out of all the animals, the easiest ones, livestock, the easiest that I personally think are raising cattle. And having the steer, you just did not have to do much. I mean, you don't have to do a lot. And there's just, other than the size of them, and you have to be careful and respect the size of them, and loading and unloading them. And
Never really been around cows. I don't have much information.
if they get sick, of course, then they usually have to be
That's
dark.
a good idea on the radio. I would have never thought to put a radio out there.
Yeah.
But I was worried about predators there for a while. So I had hubby set up game cameras out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he acted like he was complaining about it at first. But then he started to have fun with it. Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. Game cameras.
So, yeah, he set up the game cameras and then he'd just watch them, maybe like speed it up or whatever. But I don't think he ever found evidence of anything. Because it seemed like something was digging.
Yeah.
I also wondered if maybe Dawson was not trying to get in the chicken coop with the chickens. I wondered that too.
See, a tomcat.
Yeah, I like cows.
Tomcats will go after.
Yeah, cows taste good. Yeah, I do know that. I like steak.
Especially wild ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I could go for a steak right now.
But
Baked potato, salad, glass of tea. That's not what we're having for dinner, but sounds good.
I think that the easiest animal, of course, if you're starting a homestead, is going to be chickens. I know everyone wants to get goats, okay? But
goats are hard.
goats are, I don't care what kind of fence they make, they're going to get out. And there's always, you have to trim hooves. You have to, like our goat out here, she just had mastitis. So we had to go give her injections in her udders for mastitis. I mean, there's things that you just don't realize that you have to do when these animals get sick. And some of them aren't going to let you do it. I mean, so it's a fight and you have to have more than one person to help you. So all those things are things that you need to take in consideration. Goats are different than sheep, and sheep can't eat what goats eat. And so a lot of people don't know that. And there's 2 kinds of sweet feed, there's 2 kinds of all stock. One's made for sheep and one's not. One has copper in it. You cannot give goats copper. They get copper in the ground and in the minerals that they eat, but they can't have very much. So they, it's a lot of those foods
sleeps on top. One of our 2 cats sleeps on top of the chicken coop.
Yeah.
Up there where the wire is and the tarp, she sleeps right there on top of that tarp. That's actually where Miley sleeps. So I don't know. She's doing it to stay away from predators or to protect them. I'm not sure what
Jennifer,
her motivation is, but she climbs up there and sleeps on top of the chicken coop. That's where Miley sleeps.
Yeah. And my buck goat, he's destroyed our barn. We have to replace the whole side of the barn, all the siding, fix the gate, everything, because he's destroyed it. And he's destroyed fence and not
I
cheap.
heard they eat everything. I heard goats just will eat anything.
Oh, they did. They're just, I mean, and it's probably, ours are the bigger goats. They're not miniature goats or little dwarf goats. So, but yeah, there's a lot of differences. Sheep are easy as far as not getting out, not escaping, not doing any of that. You don't have to worry about that. They're often just afraid of you. Unless you've spent a lot of time trying to grain feed them, and have them follow you with the bucket. They're pretty demanding though. They know I'm the food lady, and so they stand there and scream at me all time to eat.
Yeah. So last year at the Ozark Meetup, you brought some lamb, and I had never tried it before, and I liked it. I thought it was good. It was lamb burgers. I was like, oh, I can have the basic thing that I always have, or I can have this and try something new. So I got to try that. So do you guys process your own, or do you have them done somewhere?
We usually we didn't get lambs this spring, which I'm grateful for, because we wanted to give our ewes a break, and we wanted to get another ram. So it was and
You're
so
kind of rotating around.
yeah, exactly. So we wanted to mainly give them a break, and there's a couple of them that are not good moms, so I don't want them to even get pregnant at all.
Yeah.
And you can tell which ones are good moms. Some of them are really good moms. Some of them are just horrible, just like people. Just like people are so funny that way.
There are good people, good moms and bad moms. Yeah,
I mean, and there's some bad ones. And
I've noticed that with cats. There's good moms and bad moms with cats too.
but what we normally do is in a season, we'll usually get anywhere from, I'd say, 10 to 14 lambs, usually in the spring. And maybe more sometimes. And we hold 2 of them back and then we sell the rest at auction. And this year we just didn't do any of that. We're going to sell our goats at auction, but just because I want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I don't like the extra headache.
Except for your baby Spark there.
Yeah, I don't know. I may keep Mom and keep, he'd have to get banded. He'd have to become a wether. But it may keep him and Mom, or Mom and our current wether out there, and get rid of the rest. And then she won't be able to get pregnant, and they can just keep eating keep the pastures down where there's no sheep in them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the weeds out and stuff. So I may do
your little lawnmowers. There's actually a thing. This is so weird. The first time I saw this, I thought it was really strange. So since I've been living here in this small town of Breckenridge, there was an area of like where there's a ditch, like a ditch where the water goes,
Mm-hmm.
And there was a fenced area around where they had hired goats to eat the weeds down. I've never seen that. There's a company where they will set up fencing. The guy will sit out there with his goats, and they will eat so many hours a day until they eat down all the weeds in that area.
Yeah, they will.
I've never
would love
heard of that before. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've heard of such a thing. I didn't know there was such a thing. There's a goat eating weeds service.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would do that, except for with our buck. Okay, our buck is no.
Yeah, never heard of it.
I don't care if the fence is electric. He doesn't care. He just goes right over it.
Yeah, you'd have to have animals that would actually stay within the fence line.
Yeah.
So we have about 5 minutes until Jan's live starts. If we have a moderator that could put her link in the chat to her live, not sure exactly what she's talking about tonight, but she's going to hang out and be Jan. So pretty sure Kevin woke her up by now, and the boss, and she'll be ready to. She'll be full of spunk after her nap.
Yeah.
I think she was the one napping. Weren't they talking about her napping?
She was napping.
Yeah. So hopefully she's awake and ready to do her live and do her thing. So Kevin and I did a live earlier today for the ministry channel because I'm trying to bring the hours up on that channel, and it's gone up about 20 hours. So
sorry about that. It's Wolverine.
It scared me.
I know.
It scared me all of a sudden, a loud noise. Oh, yeah, that was, yeah. I know you didn't mean it, but it scared me. Like,
it scared me too.
All of a sudden, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't take much.
Thank you, Carrie, for putting that up there.
But, yeah, thank you guys for coming in. We got, let's see, what I have 3 minutes till. Is that what you have?
Yep.
So I think we're just going to go ahead and call it. That way we don't accidentally go over. But thank you for coming up to talk about farm animals with me. And thank you to all you guys who watched this in the replay. Of course, as YouTubers, we can always use the watch hours. If you have time to run the replays of anything and you want to hear some stories about farm animals, that would be really awesome. And thank you guys for coming in. And let me know, Ariella, do you have a live tonight? You have anything going on? I seem to always be cooking when she's going live. Her time that she gets up to do a live is my cooking time.
Yeah.
You have that kind of off. So maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so I try to make it to her lives, but I don't know her exact schedule, But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go, and I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Hopefully when's your last frost date, Lynda?
Here they tell us Derby Day, or no, here they tell us not Derby Day. It might be Thunder, or it may be Derby Day. I don't know. Anyway, it's like May or something. But I plan
May, middle May,
like early May.
Early May.
So but I usually plan
Mother's Day a little bit before Mother's Day, maybe
before.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, I'm just really not sure on the date, but
mine is literally tomorrow.
We're 6B, but I have planted in March before in Kentucky and never had any problem. So I think you ought to just
tell you. I can tell you for sure that if you winter sow, basically while you're still cold right now, your bachelor buttons, because I've never been able to get bachelor buttons up. So this year I sold them when it was cold because I found that somewhere, and I just basically code stratified them outside and they came up. So that works with some.
And your carrots and your snapdragons. I'm getting ready to plant my snapdragon seeds that Karen sent me a package, and I was really excited.
I know. I have some flower. My goal this weekend is just to pot up some more flowers.
Yeah.
So not a real big goal because I did the tomatoes today, and I'm not going to be doing the pumpkins for a while. Pretty much have a lot of stuff planted. I have a full garden tour coming out on Thursday. It's like 14 minutes long, just going through showing you where things are planted and some new things that are added to the garden. Of course, if you watched last year, you'll see there's been quite a few changes done to the garden this year, and I'm always trying to squeeze more stuff in there. So Hello, Langley's Build a Homestead. Welcome in.
Be sure to
All
go
right.
over to Simply Jan's Homestead, Langley's, please.
Yeah, there's a link up there under Ariella Viking Venture.
And
Click
we're
on that
gonna
link.
work
Go by. Say hi to Jen. Put some blue hearts in the
Yeah.
live to let her know you came from Gail and Lynda. So
Okay.
thank you guys for coming in
Thank
and have a
you.
great weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye.